A moment is defined as a very brief period of time. Many moments make up a lifetime. Some could argue that our moments affect our life, and how we handle this displays our character. For example, Bethany Hamilton, surfer extraordinaire. When she was younger, she was attacked by a shark and lost her arm. Instead of wallowing and feeling sorry for herself, she got right back in the water and became one of the best surfers in the world. In 2014, our class read Of Mice and Men and Persepolis, and in 2015 we read 102 Minutes and Macbeth. I'll be discussing several of these key texts in my presentation, but first, I'm going to discuss a minor work, The Sniper by Liam O'Flaherty. He writes, "Then when the smoke cleared, he peered across and uttered a cry of joy. His enemy had been hit." But who is this enemy? After a while, the lust of battle died in him. He became bitten by remorse. This is how Macbeth feels after killing King Duncan. The sniper turned over the dead body and looked into his brother's face. Now on to the first major text, which will be Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi. Marjane wasn't like most girls. She had a very strong voice and was quite opinionated. On page 17 of Persepolis, Marjane states that for a revolution to succeed, the entire population must support it. So, Marjane took the idea of a revolution, and she simply rebelled against it. The year of the revolution, I had to take action. Page 10 of Persepolis. Marjane knew that if she wanted her moment, she would have to act. Finally, Marjane states, that the revolution is like a bicycle. If the wheels don't turn, it falls. Marjane's single moment was rebelling against the revolution. This displayed her character as brave, independent, wise, and smart. And look at where her bravery got her today.
Is this movie 100% autobiographical, or is this a fictional story inspired by your ordeals?
The documentaries, they are part fictional. As soon as you make a story, you have to have some fiction, otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Et l'enfer! Nos soldats meurent tous les jours aux frontières pour sauver notre cher pays de l'indécence.
Regarde.
En portant bien vos voiles,
Ah bah, c'est
vous
pour
leur
les
prouvez
nunuches.
que vous restez.
Well, I guess some truths are universal.
Another minor text we discussed during the school year was To Build a Fire by Jack London. In this story, a man has been warned to never travel alone in weather that's under -50 degrees. But a lucky moment causes his character to become overconfident, and he travels alone despite the warning, as shown in this quote. The single moment of deciding to travel alone in unsafe conditions revealed his character to be overconfident and cocky, and ultimately led to the man's demise. The second major text I'll be discussing is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. There are two guys, George and Lenny. Lenny is very large and has a mental disability. George ends up shooting Lenny and killing him on purpose. I'm going to be deciding whether or not this single moment reveals George to be brave or cruel. And was he right or wrong? On page 91, Lenny accidentally kills the wife of Curly by snapping her neck because he's unaware of his own strength. Lenny warns Curly's wife, saying, "You're going to get me in trouble and I don't want to hurt you." George loved Lenny, but George also knew that Lenny was a danger to others and himself because his mental disability prohibited him from knowing when enough was enough. This shows that the single moment of George shooting Lenny revealed George's character to be brave, and he made the right decision.
No family. And they ain't got nobody in the world to give a hoot and hell about it.
But not us. That's it, George. But not us. Tell about us now.
Not us.
Because
'cause I got you.
And I got you, George. That's what that gives a hoot and hell about us, George. But tell now how it's gonna be.
The last minor text is the movie Argo. On November 4th, 1979, Iranian activists stormed the U.S. Embassy. While 50 were held hostage, 6 escaped. Their leader, Mendez, doesn't cower in fear, but comes up with a brilliant plan which involves these things. This allows them to escape on the planes just as their plan is unraveled. This single moment of deciding to take charge shows Mendez's character to be quick, brave, smart, and cunning. Finally, the last major text is Macbeth by William Shakespeare. In Macbeth, he visits 3 witches who declare that Macbeth will be the Thane of Cawdor, Banquo will beget kings, and Macbeth will be king. This plants the idea into Macbeth's head that, hey, maybe he should kill King Duncan so he can be king. At first, Macbeth is reluctant to carry out his plan, but Lady Macbeth sets him straight, claiming that he is not a man if he doesn't kill King Duncan. Lady Macbeth is pretty evil and has a strange influence on her husband throughout the whole book. She wants to be queen. Badly. After the death of Duncan, people of the town become more and more suspicious of who the killer is. Although Macbeth feels guilty, he does not stop killing, and the hit list for who he has to kill grows longer and longer, with the rising suspicion, and he starts to go insane. That one single moment of killing Duncan ruined Macbeth's life and ultimately ended it. It showed his character to be selfish, greedy, and while it showed that he was not able to stand his own very well, he is easily influenced and weak. And while in Of Mice and Men, George had legitimate reasons for murdering, Macbeth had none. Alright, that's cool. I give up.